Hi everyone, this is Marianne and welcome to my channel. I have been part of the planner or the planning community since 2013, and over the years we have all shared pictures and videos of our planner pages. If you have been on my channel long enough, which I deeply thank you for, you will be familiar with how my daily planner pages look. My daily planner pages have been a product of many years of tweaking and using over and over again as my life changed. And I've been doing this since 2013 when I started making my own planner pages. And I even have a playlist on my channel about the evolution of my planner pages and my planning system. And of course, I will link that playlist in the description box. Today in this video, I want to share with you a detailed look and discussion of what's exactly in my daily pages now, because you might find some of these helpful, and so you might want to implement some of them in your own planner as well. Even if it's not the exact look, maybe you might want to implement the principle or the concept behind it. So here is my planner pages. This is one day. I am on what I call the day on 2.6 pages. Because if you take out this narrow sheet, it's a day on 2 pages, right? Left page and right page pertain to the same day. This narrow sheet that goes in between also pertains to the same day, and this narrow sheet is not exactly a half sheet. It is slightly wider than half, so I call it 0.6 page. It's not an exact measurement, but it's wider than half. So once I place the sheet where it should go, this becomes a day on 2.6 pages. Although now that I'm thinking about it, because this page is back to back, it is actually 1.2 pages, but I am not going to belabor that point. Now let us talk about what exactly are on my day on 2.6 pages. Let us look at this left page first. This page is purely for tracking. On top, of course, I have the date header, which is complete because there's the year, the day, the month, and the day of the week. The boxes beside it are reserved for the birthdays and anniversaries of my friends and relatives, as well as a place to signify whether there is a national holiday or a local holiday, including religious observances that are also declared as holidays. And the boxes for birthdays and anniversaries are really handy because when I greet people on social media, I post a close-up photo of my planner with their birthdays and anniversaries on there. They like it. It means a lot to them that they're in my planner. Of course, I only do this for people who have made their own birthdays and anniversaries public. In this leftmost column, going down, are my tracking boxes for media that I have consumed for the day, except for this very first box, which serves as tracking for my own creative writing. I write down there the name of the novel or story I have written for the day, and I just encircle these words here if I have written a lot. So, which right now 1,000 words is considered so-so in my mind, and a bit is less than 1,000 words. This pertains to whatever book I have read for the day for my own pleasure, and I just circle these letters if it's a fiction book, a nonfiction book, and O is for others, like if it's a book of poetry or a set of screenplays. This pertains to books that I have read for my current university research, which right now is still my graduate thesis. It is taking forever, I know. And then below this is my box for YouTube videos that I have watched. And I just write down what kind of videos they were, if they were planner related or crafting related or a social commentary and such. Here is where I list down TV shows and other serials that I have watched. This is for movies and film, and this pertains to documentaries I have watched for the day, and this one pertains to lectures I have watched or listened to. Below is where I list down podcasts I listen to for the day. This box here is for tracking mileage on my car. I write down the odometer reading the first time I leave the house for the day, and then the reading at the end of the day when I get home and don't leave anymore. That will give me the kilometers traveled for the day. I also write down how many bars of gas is left at the end of the day and how many liters of gasoline I bought for and how much, if it applies. Having this information here will eventually give me historical data that will help me figure out how my car's fuel efficiency become less and less over time, as what always happens to all motor vehicles. It will also give me historical information on the fluctuating oil prices. This is just, interesting snippets of data or information that will give me an idea on how I have navigated these things on a day to day basis. Okay, over here is where I write down my food intake. Because I have very strange sleeping hours, it therefore follows that I don't eat on regular hours either. Sometimes I wake up at 10 a.m. because I want to sleep at 3 a.m. So 10 a.m. would be my breakfast. But then my lunch will not be at 12. It can probably be at 3 p.m. if I ever do decide to have lunch, because sometimes I'm either not hungry or I'm too busy that I forget all about lunch. And I also write down the time of my eating here because sometimes when I am deep at work and then I just happen to glance at this part on my planner, which is always beside me anyway, and I see that my last meal was, let's say, 4 p.m., and it's already 9 p.m., then that can be an alert for me to go eat something. It's not healthy, I know, but one of my goals for 2023 is to have a more physically healthy routine. I wrote that into my Moxie Life Plan to Thrive workbook just a couple of days ago. I filled my process and I will link the video down below. So this irregular meals will be dealt with starting next month. And right below the food intake box are tiny little boxes for fluid intake. This pertains to fruit juice, tea, which I always take iced, soda, milk and chocolate milk, water, and coffee, which I don't really want coffee anymore because it messes with my sleeping even so much more. But I just might need to start taking coffee again if I am going to train my body to have more regular waking and sleeping hours. So I'm going to keep this here. In this box here is where I list down my symptoms for all of my illnesses. I suffer from hypothyroidism and chronic venous insufficiency, and I am also asthmatic. I have allergies, and all of that, the chronic illnesses, is exacerbated by perimenopause. It's no party, but I need to track symptoms because symptoms are also affected by meals and fluid intake and sleeping and the other things that I track into these pages. I also write down here other things that I go through, like if I have a headache, if it is a cluster headache or a migraine, or if I have a cold or a cough and such things. And I also write down here what medication I have taken for those conditions. This is for tracking symptoms that are specific to my chronic venous insufficiency. This is pretty much the full list already, and I just darken the circle that pertains to what happened. If I wore compression socks, which I am allergic to, by the way, the fabric makes me itch and makes my skin red. And so on days when I really cannot wear the socks, I raise my legs instead. And I also get to record here if my legs felt tired or strained or painful, or if they were spasming or tingling, or if they felt heavy or itchy, or if I used the electric massager. I just darken the circles of everything that applies for the day. Here is where I note down if I have difficulty of breathing, which can be related to allergies or asthma, or if I don't have an allergy, it might be a symptom of a pulmonary embolism, which I am not at risk for because according to the latest ultrasound of my legs, I do not have deep vein thrombosis. That means I do not have a blood clot in my legs that might travel to my lungs and prevent me from breathing. But I want this to be tracked nevertheless. It's important to me. And of course, here's the ubiquitous step counter, which will come in handy in 2023 because one of my goals is to use the treadmill for half an hour every single day. Here I will record weight and blood pressure. Because of my hypothyroidism, my normal blood pressure is low, like 90 over 60. It's been the same for years. But perimenopause is changing that, and it has started to become slightly higher. Sometimes it becomes 110 over 70 for me. I don't feel sick at all when that happens, but I need to track it. And when I write down my blood pressure, I also note down what time I took the measurement. And this here is for noting down whether I have walked outside or used the treadmill and for how long. And these 5 boxes down here directly correspond to what I want to go in my year in pixels. I have here tracking for anxiety, the quality of my journaling experience, the quality of my social media interactions, my productivity levels, and my sleep quality for each single day. And you can see that each category has 3 different levels. That is because here in my actual year in pixels pages, and by the way, I have not filled these out beyond January. I am very bad, I know, but that is why I record them every day here on my daily pages. Here on my year in pixels, every category has 3 different colors that show intensity levels or quality levels or quantity levels. In a few days, I'm going to fill in the missing information in this year pixels using the information that I have been tracking the entire year in my daily pages. That's why these are here because I cannot go to my year in pixels every day. It's just more convenient for me to have these here in my daily pages. Okay, over here are my tracking boxes for personal care, skincare for the morning, skincare for bedtime, because it's a different set for morning and night. And this is for body care, and here it's not relevant anymore whether I did it day or night. I just darken the circles that pertain to what applies. Below this is the box for dental care. I am terrible at flossing. I hate it, but when I have already tracked like 2 days of no flossing, then I have to force myself to floss. MW is for mouthwash and TOCHK is for using the tongue and cheek cleaner, which I don't do every time I brush my teeth. But I do brush my teeth after every meal, which, because my meals aren't regular, I note down here how many times I have brushed my teeth for the day. I just draw a short line each time I brush my teeth. This tiny box here is to record my body temperature, which really could go into this symptoms box above it, but I had the space for it here, so I placed a separate box for it. Here is for tracking my hormonal symptoms. I just darken the circles of everything that applies for the day. This is for tracking energy levels. 5 is super high energy, 1 is almost no energy. And this is for tracking my maintenance medications. There is a space below my levothyroxine to write down what time I took it because I need to take it on an empty stomach at least 30 minutes before breakfast. And if I don't write down the time I took it, I would completely lose the track of time and eat before I should. And here in this box is where I write down my YouTube statistics for the day, just the usual views, subscriber growth, and which video has been most viewed and top earning, things like that. And that is my left page of my daily pages. In this narrow sheet right here, I have my 24-hour time tracking. It starts on midnight and ends at midnight, exactly 24 hours. The hours are printed on here, and the green lines represent 10-minute progressions. So, for instance, this is 5 a.m., this is 5:10, 5:20, 5:30, 5:40, 5:50, and then 6 o'clock. When I start working on a task, I draw a horizontal line at the corresponding mark and then go on and do what I have to do. And then when I'm done with the task, I go back here into my planner page and draw another line at what time it is, and then connect the two lines together with a vertical line. Let me show you how it looks when it's been filled in. Let me take out this one from December 25 to give you an idea what I did on Christmas Day. At midnight, I had Noche Buena with my family at home. Noche Buena is a traditional Filipino way of celebrating Christmas. It is a family meal eaten at midnight. And we all went to bed at 1:40. Well, they went to bed. The dinner ended then, but I could not sleep, so I printed out my Moxie Life Plan to Thrive workbook and all the other pages relevant to it. It took me an hour and a half because there's a lot of pages, and I also had to cut the paper, and then I printed out everything in the highest quality print setting, which is always slow, but I wanted the pages to turn out very, very good, very, very well. And then I filmed myself filling out the workbook. The video will be linked in the description box. After I was done with my Moxie Life workbook, I did something exciting. I went online and looked for photos that I can use for the cover of a disc-bound life notebook that I want to make for myself. I will make a video about it and I will upload it on my YouTube channel. I spent an hour and a half just looking for photos because I was undecided on the aesthetic theme. I was just going around Unsplash really. And then I was asleep on these times that are marked here. At 4:40 in the afternoon, I finalized the photos that I wanted for the covers and dividers of the Life Notebook. And after that, that is when I worked on my script for my Moxie Live video, which wasn't really a script, but a list of things to mention in the video, just so I won't forget anything. And then I edited the video and so on and so forth. And that was everything that happened in the entire 24 hours of December 25. And you might say this day has very weird hours only because it's a holiday. But my everyday is like this, really. When I cannot sleep, despite my trying, I just get out of bed and do something. I am using my insomnia to be productive and get things done because there's a lot of things that need to get done. This 24-hour time tracking, therefore, has two purposes. One, to keep me informed of my workflow process, sort of like a time and motion study, so I will get an idea of the average time it takes me to do recurring tasks and activities. Second, it's to show me that I have done something during the day and I have not been completely useless, even if sometimes it feels like that. Looking at this page right here gives me the assurance, backed by evidence, that I might have felt so low energy today, or I might not have been able to write my novel, but I have read a book for pleasure, for example, or I have filmed a video for YouTube instead, or I got some sleep instead, or have spent some time with family instead. Knowing these things is important for me, so I won't feel so useless, and that's why I have this page. And sometimes I even take a picture of this narrow page and post it on my social media. That is why I also put the date at the top, the complete date, day, month, day of the week, and year. And eventually, the photos will end up in my online memories, and it would be nice to see them there. At the back of this narrow sheet is where I can write down notable moments or thoughts, such as if something strange happened this day, or if I had a random thought, or a coincidence happens, or a realization, things like that. And the reason that I have this here is because I don't journal every day anymore, but I still want to note down things that are notable without the pressure of having to journal about it. That's why this is here. And below is where I list down expenses for the day. I just fill this part from the bottom up. And this one I fill from the top down. And those are all of the pages for tracking. This one, and this one. And finally, we get to the one page, the one single page that is actually for planning. There are two columns of boxes here. On the left column at the top is my box for writing down all tasks pertaining to my YouTube channel. And usually I place here those sticky notes that I made for my channel. I have a video showing how I made them, and I will link it down below. Below that is the box for tasks pertaining to home and family. Below this one is the box reserved for tasks pertaining to my one major goal for the next couple of years. I have things to do directly and indirectly related to it. They all go here. Below it is for my second novel, which also includes tracking words written for the day, like number of words. My aim is 500 words a day at least, and then also for tracking the accumulated word count. The rest of the space will be used for tasks related to the writing of that novel, such as if I need to do an interview with someone, or if there is a book I need to find, or if there is some place I need to go to literally see a building that I want to describe, or if there is a particular historical moment that I need to look up. So I will be accurate when using that detail in the novel, things like that. And below it are for tasks related to Jawide. Sometimes we have breakfast, and we also used to have movie nights. And I always go with him when he has a band performance. On this right column, I have space for listing down personal tasks. This icon is supposed to be me with the short hair and the glasses, which, come to think of it, I also need to place here. I began using this icon with the super short hair when I started on the disc-bound system last July 2021. And the same icon used to be here because I had super short hair then. And when I grew out my hair, I changed to this icon, but I forgot to change this one. I'll do that next time. And this is the box where I record tasks pertaining to my university, such as deadlines, submissions, people to email or call. And this is also where I put on the sticky notes and stickers pertaining to the continuing and apparently interminable, endless work on my graduate thesis. Below is the box for tasks pertaining to my first novel. I finished writing it last August 9, and it also already has a publisher. It has had a publisher since July, but my novel wasn't finished yet at the time when I got a publisher, so I had to finish it. I do have a vlog series about my process for finishing writing my first novel, and I will link the playlist down below. I also have a flip through showing this part of my daily pages during the time when I was working on the novel. You might be interested to watch it. I will link the video down below as well. And then this box at the bottom is for tasks related to my handmade notebook business. Like, for instance, if I need to ship out orders, or I have to order paper, or I have to go out and buy glue, things like that. And at the bottom of this box, I always write down the serial numbers of notebooks that I have finished making for the day. All of the notebooks that I make have a serial number unique to them. Also, the number of notebooks that I finish making for the day is part of my year in pixels. See here, I want to see whether I have made 5 and up notebooks, or if I made 3 to 4 or just 1 to 2 for the day, because like I said, I cannot go to this year in pixel section every day, so I just noted down here. One serial number written here means I finished making just one notebook. 2 serial numbers means 2, and so on and so forth. And it's nice to have a record of what specific day each specific notebook has been made. But come to think of it, this 5 and up is too ambitious. There was never a day when I was able to make 5 notebooks in a single day. I mean, I have 3 individual book presses, and because it takes only 6 to 7 hours for the glue to fully dry and cure in front of a fan, so technically I can unload the 3 book presses and make 3 more notebooks all in a span of a single day and make 6, right? But in reality, I do not do that. So for my year in pixels for 2023, I will change these parameters. Just a note to myself. I hope I don't forget. Okay, so that's what's on my page for planning. You might be wondering, how come I have more pages for tracking than for planning in my planner pages? And the answer to that is because my planning has never really been that rigid. My days are never structured. I do not work anymore in an office like I used to when I worked for the government bureaucracy. And even during that time when I still worked in that office, I worked in the creative communications department, and our days were not structured either. And these days, I am more focused on my creative writing. Aside from cramming for my never ending thesis, that's all I ever do, aside from notebooks. So I'm free to decide when to write and even where to write and how to write. So I don't have to chain myself to a rigid hourly plan. I just have daily targets, which are actually right here in this little card that I also use as a page finder. I just need to devote 6 hours to thesis work, and that can be any time I have energy and can concentrate. Same for the rest of these things. And as for writing my second novel, I didn't even put a time frame in there. Just my daily target of at least 500 words. That is the kind of target setting that works best for me. I tried to set specific time blocks for myself sometime last year. I think it was last year or in 2021. It was an epic fail. It was successful for the first few days and I was so happy. But after that, it failed phenomenally. I have a video about that, which I will link down below. But that other method might actually work for you, so check it out. You might find it helpful. So that's why I have more space here for tracking than for planning. The page for planning is not even super strict. Half of them are mere suggestions. And if an item isn't even that urgent, but only need to be done within the week and not on a specific day, I don't even write it on the daily pages. I write it here on this weekly task sheet that I tip in on the right edge of the Sunday spread, which I fold in or fold out as needed. I have an entire video of what's in this sheet and why, and I will link it down below. But this no longer applies to the day, this applies to the week. This applies to the day. And just a short note on where I got all of these icons. I downloaded them all from Flaticon. I will link the website down below. I downloaded the PNG versions, which are for free, and then I just place them on the layout file. I use Pages, by the way, and then I just resize them into these tiny little things. All the things that are on Flaticon are available for personal use only. They are for free, but they're for personal use only. We can use them for our own planners that we use for ourselves, but we cannot sell the icons. And we also cannot sell any planners or planner files that use the icons unless you pay the creators of the icons or get their permission in writing. The only icon that I didn't get from Flaticon is this image of the oblation statue. This statue is in my university campus, and I just found a vector image online and then placed it on here. Okay, I think that is all. These are all that is in these daily pages that are on my disc-bound planner, both for tracking and for planning, which is actually heavier on the tracking than on the planning. But this works for me, and I still call it a planner. If you're still watching the video at this point, I thank you so much, and I hope this video is helpful to you. Please feel free to get some ideas from here that you think you can implement in your planner. And if you're not a subscriber yet, I hope you can consider subscribing. Thank you for watching. Bye.